3, 2, 1, 0.
Folks, it's 7 o'clock on a Monday, and this is the place to be. This is Monday Night Nerd, hosted by myself, Corp Cosplay. I hope you are all doing so well. It has been a heck of a week, and I'm so glad to be here because we have got a lot to talk about. And kind of part of that is this whole thing. Ain't this looking pretty? I have been working all weekend on upgrading and updating all of my workshop. Picked up some more pegboard, and now I've got a lot more space to hang stuff, have stuff ready to go. Oh, it is good. I'm so excited to get back to work on all of my cosplay. However, I am taking a little bit of a break. I mentioned it on the pre-show. It's my wife's birthday is coming up in a couple weeks. So every year after Fan Expo, I sort of take the month of September to myself and just relax, play games, watch movies, etc. Because there have been years when we first started dating that I would just run right through to her birthday and panic at the last minute. And that's not fair to her. I need to take care of my wife because I like being married. And she's also the sponsor of this show, and I need that sponsorship. It helps. So we are going to talk. Well, I was going to start with that. We did. We got a little bit of news, and then we're going to jump into the cosplay and all of the great cosplayers that we're going to talk about tonight, because these are the folks that have influenced me and made me the cosplayer that I am. They may be able to influence you and may be able to help you with some problems that you have. Man, it is cool to give honor to some of these people. Some of these people have even commented and liked some of my posts and have now followed me, which makes my head boom explode. But we're going to get into that and a lot more. So let's start off with a little bit of news, folks. I watched a movie this weekend that I was worried about, but I know as a hardcore fan of the series, I had to watch it. I had to suffer through it a little bit, and that is Borderlands. I watched Borderlands, the movie. I want to give you a little bit of background into my fandom before we get into my review, because a lot of people that have reviewed this in, movies, gaming, etc., have all said, I'm not a fan of the franchise. They're just watching the movie as a movie. I'm going to talk to you about it because I am a hardcore fan of this series. I have every game that they've released, including the VR of number 2. I have beat every one of them multiple times. I have merchandise. I have shirts. I have hats. I have the only exclusive Pop Funko I own is of Butt Stallion from the San Diego Comic-Con, because Butt Stallion is one of the best characters in video games, in my opinion. You have to be a fan of the game to understand the reference. I could go into it, but it's going to make no sense. You have to play number 2. So I am a big fan of this franchise. This is one of probably my top 3 favorite video game franchises. The humor is amazing. The gameplay's fun. I know people crap on the last 2, even that's including Tiny Tina's, but I still enjoy it. So when I say that I heard there was a movie coming out, I had high hopes. I've also seen enough video game movies to know that I need to keep those high hopes tamed down a little bit. And I was right. Sadly, I can't say that I went into this expecting anything than what I got. Every reviewer's pretty much had the same review, and I'm kind of going to have the similar feeling on it. However, I'm going to have a little bit of insider video game knowledge because I'm a fan of the franchise. Overall, what this movie felt like was that someone read a brief, like a brief you'd get if you're in the business world of like a 1-page, this is the synopsis of what the rest of the report is going to be like. They read just the brief, and that's it. Each character got a 1-page brief of this is who they are, this is their backstory, this is the type of energy they should be bringing to the character, and this is how they are part of the story. That's it. they're getting it, but they're not getting it, if you understand what I'm trying to say. The characters in the movie are either underacted or overacted. Lilith, for example, is so depressing in this movie. And that's very underacted. But she's also overacting how depressed she is. It is a weird matrix of just not understanding what makes the Borderlands series what it is. And it's, again, I knew what I was going into, so I wasn't depressed, like butthurt depressed. I knew it was going to be disappointing. The entire world and everything, it makes sense, but it's also not even close. There are little tidbits that I do appreciate. Krieg is probably the best character in the movie and is the most accurate to the game because he doesn't talk and because he kind of just says stupid lines here and there. That's what the character is in the game. Roland, they tried and it just wasn't Roland. Roland is supposed to be a army veteran who has seen war and he's just too funny. Lilith is Lilith. Claptrap, I wasn't as bummed with Claptrap as I've seen with so many people. He's an annoying character in the game, so that doesn't surprise me. His jokes are better in the game than they are in the movie, so I do have a problem with that. The cast is trying. I will give them that. I will give the cast the credit of they're trying their best. They just weren't given enough to work with. And I don't know if that's an Eli Roth problem because he's the director, if it's the screenwriter who doesn't want to be a part of it anymore. I don't know. But I can tell they're all trying, but they're the wrong people for it, and they just don't have enough to work with. I especially like the opening, well, not the opening scene, but the trailer scene where they're lifting the manhole cover and they're all looking down. I don't remember if it's in the trailer or not, but if you watch the movie, you can see in the crack of the manhole cover a stagehand helping pull it out. And that is just terrible editing that you'd forget to cut that out. And it's just overall not a great movie. I give it a 3 out of 10. It wasn't bad enough that I needed to turn it off. I've watched enough bad movies that that's not a thing for me anymore. But yeah, overall, it was a 3 out of 10. We got some people in the chat. Let's see what people are saying. Crystal says, I'll say when the game creator isn't involved heavily, it's going to fail. Fallout is definitely proof of that. It was so amazing. Todd was so involved. Agreed. 100%. There are so many times, including, I'll even bring up another game with The Witcher and Henry Cavill. You have these people who are diehard fans or creators of the series, and the Hollywood studio, whatever you want to call it, says we don't want them involved because they're too much of a pain in the butt. I don't understand the logic of that, but maybe that's just me. I do have to say Claptrap is on point for collaborated cosplay. Roland was not great, although I do have to give it to Kevin Hart that he dumbed down his comedy so much. It was still too much comedy. Agreed. I back that up 100%. He toned it down a ton, but it was still, he's not supposed to have any comedy. And it was just, it was a 3 out of 10, plain and simple. I can't wait to finally watch Twisters. I'm probably going to be watching that sometime soon. I still got to watch Inside Out 2. What else? There's a couple other ones. I want to watch Deadpool Wolverine again. But yeah, the Borderlands 3 out of 10. That's what I'm going to give it. I'm going to quickly say this. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I've had a few friends reach out about wrestling lately because AEW just did their All Out pay-per-view a couple days ago. I'm not going to talk about it. Personally, I was not thrilled with what I've seen in the pay-per-view. I did not watch it. The clips that I have seen, and if you're a fan of AEW, if you're a wrestling fan, there are 2 parts of that pay-per-view that I don't want to say offended me, but really made me mad. And I don't want to bring up too much negativity on this podcast. I try and keep it very positive here, but it's to the point that I will not be talking or supporting AEW anymore. It was insulting. It was stupid. It was not wrestling. and I don't want anything to do with it. I paid for AEW a year ago when they came to town. That is not happening anymore. I'm so done with that company. I will keep watching WWE, but yeah, that was disgusting in my opinion, and that's not my kind of wrestling. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Let's jump into what do we got here? I'm just quickly looking at my notes. Okay, so let's talk about Fan Expo quickly. It's about 2 weeks since Fan Expo 2024. We did a whole episode last week talking about Fan Expo, and so if you've been on their TikTok lately, if you've been on their TikTok in the past couple days, you may have noticed this smiling face was on their TikTok in a Gambit cosplay. So let me give you the backstory. If you haven't gone there, after the episode's done, hop on over and check them out. I was walking through the North building and I got stopped by I cannot remember her name, the individual who runs their social media. And she said, "Oh my God, I love your Gambit." She especially liked the cards. And she said, "Can we get a video of you in cosplay doing the Gambit line from the Deadpool Wolverine movie of 'I'm going to make a name for myself'?" And I said, "Sure, more than happy to do it." I said, "I don't remember it exactly." And she said, "Well, I'll play it for you and we'll figure it out." So she played it for me. And then I realized I'm not going to be able to hear when she starts and when the line starts, so I'm going to have some trouble. So, a couple tries, finally got it. Honestly, forgot I even did it because I've been a part of so many of those over the years where just little things have been like, "Hey, you want to be a part of this? Cool." And I never see the light of day. It always just gets thrown out or deleted or whatever. Come to find out, a couple days later, Silky C, who's sometimes in the chat, she commented and sent it to me and said, "Dude, you're on their Facebook, you're on the TikTok." And I said, "Oh my God, that's so cool." So I started looking at the comments, and there were a ton of negative comments. My favorites were Wish.com Gambit, which is one of my favorites. I have AIDS now because of watching your video. That was another topper. What was another one? There was a ton of negative comments. There was also a lot of people who were noticing the string that connects all the cards and had to bring that up multiple times to the point where probably 40 times. Now, I work in social media, I work in marketing, and I know how algorithms work. And when I start seeing comments like that, I don't take offense. I don't get butthurt over it and all that. I know what to do with that. And this is advice to anyone who ever gets these kind of comments. Don't get discouraged. Don't make it about you. Make it about them. Leave little comments on each one. Reply to each comment. Say little goofy things. If you go over the TikTok, you can see, the little things I've put. People talking about the string. I'm like, "What string? There is no string." Or I got to go talk to Penn and Teller because I don't know this whole magic thing yet. And you do that because when the algorithm sees replies to all those comments, that now is turned into a conversation. And that now tells the algorithm, people are talking about this. They don't give a crap that it's you replying to every one of them. They just see that conversations are happening. So that's going to push that algorithm and push that post further down the line so more people see it. And the benefit of that is now that video, which was a 6 to 8 second video of me doing this, now has 320,000 views. I am now one of the biggest videos there in months. And Marvel Entertainment saw it and commented and said that my cosplay was a royal flush. So, thank you to everyone out there who left a comment about the string. Thank you to everyone out there who said I was the Walmart version of Gambit. I appreciate it so much. Folks, that's how you take advantage of that situation. Kill them with kindness. You will end up looking better in the end. So, thank you to everybody. And that makes me feel so good that the algorithm is working in the way that I thought it was. And I got to take advantage of that. And hopefully, people at Fan Expo see that. And maybe I'll be more in their social media. Boy can dream. And yeah, so that's what happened this weekend. And did it take a lot of time to go through and comment everyone and come up with different lines for anybody that commented on string? Yeah, but you know what? It's worth it in the end when your cosplay is now seen by 300,000 more people and Marvel comments on it. It's kind of worth the time. What do we got in chat? Mr. Famous, watch out, everyone. Shut up. Bad publicity is still publicity. Yeah, it is. Exactly. I'm going to have to pay you now to guest. No, you are not paying me to guest. You are not paying me to guest. That is collaborative cosplay. For those who don't know, who are tuning in, I will be at London Comic Con this weekend, and I will be hanging out with Mr. Collaborative Cosplay. We'll be at his booth from 2 to 3 o'clock. Come by, say hi. We are going to have a lot of fun. What else we got to talk about? Sadly, this is the point of the show where we have to get a little sad. If you check the news lately, unfortunately, we have lost Mr. James Earl Jones. It's, yeah, unfortunately, these actors and actresses that we grew up loving and watching, yeah, they unfortunately get old and they pass away. James Earl Jones was 93, passed away, I believe, in his home with his family. And, you know, you obviously, if you're a nerd or a geek, you're well aware of who he is. He is the voice of Darth Vader. He's the voice of Mufasa. He's the dad from Coming to America. And yeah, it's a little piece of our childhood. I know, thankfully, depending on what side of the argument you are, me, it's a positive because I'm a fan. I believe he sold his voice to Disney so they can use his voice and AI it later. And he will continue to be the voice of Darth Vader for, you know, however long they keep doing it. So that is very nice to see, because we won't have to find another Darth Vader voice. Again, I know that's, you know, kind of a sketchy subject with some people, but I like his voice. So, and I had, you know, let's first do this. You know, if you've been a viewer of this podcast for a while, I used to do a segment called Thanks for the Memories, and that's where we talked about people who passed away. We don't do that all the time anymore because it just is a downer every week to find someone who passed away in the entertainment world. But for ones like this, we do say, thanks for the memories, Mr. James Earl Jones. You will be sadly missed by many generations of fans. Now, this kind of caught me when I thought about this. So he's the voice of Darth Vader, but he's the voice of Mufasa, and he's also the dad of Coming to America. Coming to America is kind of the live-action Lion King, in my opinion. I'm sorry, but I'm a big fan of the movie Coming to America with Eddie Murphy, and it just kind of hit me today. It is basically the live-action Lion King. There's a king, played by James Earl Jones, who has a son, and the son doesn't want to be king yet. And the son goes to a faraway land and to enjoy to find the love of his life. And they fall in love and they come back and he rules as king. The only difference really is Simba has to fight his uncle. And in Coming to America, Eddie Murphy beats up Samuel L. Jackson. Like, that's the only real difference. Overall, it's kind of the same plot. But yeah, it kind of caught me off guard. And Timon and Pumbaa would be the guys in the barbershop. Like, it's oddly similar. But yeah, unfortunately, we lost James Earl Jones, and he will be missed. That's kind of it for the news. We're going to jump into the sponsor, and then we're going to jump into the cosplayers, because these cosplayers are incredible. But first, the sponsor, we talked about them earlier. The sponsor of this podcast every single week, is my beautiful, loving, amazing wife. She is the one who is my backbone. She supports me in all this stuff. And as I've said a million times, I would not be the person I am without her. She's the one who is allowing me to go to 6 more conventions for the rest of the year. Oh man, I've got 6 more of those things to go to, and it's friggin' September. I am nuts. I keep getting asked and I can't say no because it's the old there's an old adage that I will always remember. I remember watching a Kiss, the band, had a DVD come out when I was young, and I was a huge I still am a Kiss fan, but I was a huge fan then. And there's a point where Paul Stanley, the lead singer, says, people ask him about travel and being tired on the road. And he said, if you get to the point of living your dreams, you really can't complain about, the little things that come along with it. It's like becoming the president and complaining about wearing a tie. You knew that stuff was going to happen if you got to that level. So that's why I'm not really complaining that I get asked and people ask me to come to these cons, because that if you asked me back in 2010 when I first started really cosplaying, dude, in a decade plus, you're going to be asked to go to conventions. Like, I would have hit the floor. So I can't be upset. I can't say yes to every single one, but I can't be upset. So this weekend will be London Comic Con with Collaborated Cosplay. And then the weekend after, Hamilton Comic Con, the local con, I will be volunteering. And then, about 4 more left in the season. All right. Han, I love you. You're my sponsor. Thank you. I don't know if I ended that or not. But anyways, let's jump into the podcast. Let's jump into the main event, folks. Let's talk about the kings and queens of cosplay. So I have been thinking over the years about which people in the cosplay community really influenced me. I've been doing this cosplay thing since around 2010, 2009. So almost 15 years I've been in the cosplay world, looking at people, understanding who does what and who are the real experts. And nowadays, some people may not even realize back in 2009, 2010, this whole thing was not a thing. Like, Instagram was not a thing. Twitch was not a thing. Facebook was kind of there, but kind of not. This whole social media thing was not there. So you really had a select few that were big enough to break through and become known as the cosplayers. Nowadays, it seems like every single cosplayer, well, I shouldn't say every single cosplayer, there are a few people out there that I even know, that I've run into, who believe they're experts. I don't know, but I don't know if I consider them it. Maybe. Anyways, it's there's definitely those people out there who want to be a king and queen of cosplay, and just I don't see it, because that's just, they say they're an expert and it's just they're not. I don't know where I was going with that. But these are the ones that I looked up to, and a lot of them are still doing cosplay. Some of them are a little less, some of them are a little different, but these are the 5, 6, how many we got here? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cosplayers that I really wanted to showcase, because these are experts in what I want to say. They each have their own specialty. Everybody is pretty good at a lot of different things when they're at that level, but we're going to go through each one and they're going to have their own specialty. So if you're looking for, I really need somebody who's good at seamstressing, sewing, whatever you want to call it, there's one. If there's someone looking for foam, you go to this person. So we're going to go through that. We're going to go through each one and sort of explain why they became a king and queen of cosplay and why I think they should be highlighted. We're going to start things off with what I started with when I first started cosplaying. That is foam, and that is our man, Evil Ted. Folks, if you're in the cosplay world and you do not know who Evil Ted is, you're not on the internet, because this is the man you go to if you need any help with foam, any questions with foam. you talk to this guy, or you at least look at his stuff. This is the guy that when I first started, I went, I need a material that I can understand. It makes a lot of sense. It's not stupidly expensive, because there was things like Warbler and fabric, and I'm just like, it's not what I wanted to get into. I need something with more structure. And I found Evil Ted and I went, oh, this makes so much sense. He's so good at understanding the basics and explaining it, and to be honest, dumbing it down to people who don't understand it at all. Before I found Evil Ted and before I found out what foam cosplaying was, I will always remember a project my wife and I were living in a 1-bedroom apartment, and we really didn't have the space to cosplay, but I had just started really getting into cosplay. And I was on the balcony of our apartment, and I had watched a tutorial about how Bondo was used to sort of make details on cosplay. And I made an entirely full-size cardboard and Bondo Power Ranger helmet. Now, for those who don't know what Bondo is a material that's used on cars to fill in holes. It is a very strong and very heavy after a while, and a very unforgiving thing that you shouldn't be probably using a ton of for your cosplay. And I remember sitting outside in the balcony for hours, sanding, carving, trying to figure out this out, and I just couldn't get it to work. So once I found Evil Ted, and I went, foam, it's light, it's cheap, it's everywhere, I love it. Made my life so much easier. And he will for you too. He does tutorials. He does live streams. He has the most basic templates that you can use for anything. It makes the process so much easier, because you can usually find his templates and then build off of them. And he will show you how to do it. His helmet is pretty much over there, which I've used that helmet template, his free one, for about 3 Judge Dredd helmets and other things. So go check out Evil Ted. By the way, all of these guys are on all the social media platforms: Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, I believe, all of those. YouTube and Instagram for sure. All of these folks. So go check out Evil Ted. Pick up a couple of his patterns. He's also a super sweet guy. He commented on today's post saying he was so happy to be a part of this, and that made me melt. And I know Freakish Workshop has had a couple conversations with him, and he has been nothing but nice. So give Evil Ted a little bit of a shout out. So if that's your foam person, we need a seamstress. We need somebody to show us how sewing works, and that would be Miss Yaya Han. Yaya Han is the OG seamstress. Is this box in the... No, there it is. Yaya Han is the OG seamstress. She was the first cosplayer that I remember seeing all over social media. I remember seeing her builds like everywhere when I first started. She has been able to become, I don't want to say the queen, but I think if, like Evil Ted, if you have not ever seen Yaya Han and you're a cosplayer, you are missing out. Her patterns are incredible. Crystal says, I owe way too many of her patterns. You know what? I completely understand. She has patterns. She has fabric. She's endorsed by sewing machine brands. She is a mogul. And last, she is a doll to meet. She is incredibly sweet. I met her, I believe it was 2013 at Fan Expo, one of the last times she was there. And I obviously wanted to meet her, but at that time, my wife was also cosplaying, and she was working on a cosplay, and unfortunately, it was just not working out for her. She was having a lot of trouble with it, and she ended up wanting to work on it at the con in the hotel room. And I am horrible with that. I hate working on stuff in the I hate working on that type of stuff in the hotel. And she was back at the hotel fighting with it. And I remember having to meet Yaya Han because it was the last chance I would ever get to get an autograph from her. And I walked up and I said, I'm Miss Yaya Han, like, I'm a big fan. Your incredible builds. I want to say, though, my wife is an even bigger fan. Unfortunately, she is at the hotel fighting with her cosplay. She's just not getting to work. And I said, would you kindly take a short video just to give her some encouragement? And she did. And this was before selfies and stuff at tables and stuff. She was so sweet to do that video, and it meant so much to my wife, and it meant so much to me. I can't say enough good things about her. There was also, I don't know if you guys know this, but there was a cosplay reality show for a little while. I could not remember what it was called, but it was a bunch of cosplayers building for a convention, and Yaya Han was a part of that. And I remember watching that reality show like crazy, and she was always so supportive of everybody. And anytime anybody sort of had a little friction, she was always there to sort of be the guiding light, so to speak, when it comes to cosplaying. So can't say enough good things about Yaya. If you're looking for sewing stuff, if you're looking for patterns, if you're looking for sewing machines, if you're looking for anything to do with needle and thread, this is the person to go to. Next, this is someone who I didn't really understand how important this person was until I really started to get into the social media aspect of it. Heroes of Cosplay. Thank you, Collaborated. This person really showcased how much you can do with social media and how far you can push it and how good you can get at it. That is Jessica Nigiri. I know some people have had some issues with Jessica over the years. If you've been in the Fan Expo area or when she was here last, you know there was an issue with her leaving early and stuff like that. I don't know any details about that, so don't know, don't ask, none of my problem. However, this person was the first one who I saw blow up on social. This girl knows what she's got, and she's good at it. So as Crystal says, I'm not a fan of her. That's perfectly fine. I get it. But when it comes to social media and it comes to getting her face out in front of the cosplay world and in front of the general public world, she's on the list. So much that in the movie I talked about earlier, Borderlands, she's a background character in it. And she's a good but bad background character because she stands out like a sore thumb because I'm such a fan of hers. So if you're looking for somebody to understand what works on social media, and I will fully admit a lot of her stuff has to do with sexuality, but you know what? Girl makes bank. And I can't say anything bad about that. If you know what you're doing, go do it. At this point, like I don't feel any shame on that or anything. Like if the girl wants to do it and the girl making money out of it, make money. Good for you. Go get it. But I really sat down and tried to understand not just obviously, you know, her looks and everything, but just the way she does content. And that's something that is you really need to think about when you're getting into the social media aspect of not just cosplaying, but in general. You know, you can have your ideas and you can have your ways of doing things, but if they're not going to get the attention you want or I don't want to say likes because we shouldn't be doing social media for likes, but getting the reward out of it that you want, you really do need to listen and think and really watch and study what others are doing in that area and are doing it well. And I took a lot of ideas from the way Jessica creates her videos, the way she cuts them, the way she has the first 3 seconds is interesting. All of that stuff really made me understand, okay, I'm going to take that aspect of it, Frankenstein it with my stuff, and try and do more social media like that. I'm not as good as her, but I'm trying. So I give Jessica all the props in the world for what she does. Also met her at Fan Expo. Also super cool. Also, her boyfriend, husband, whatever, super cool as well. There were a bunch of guys who they weren't touching, but they were coming real close to being inappropriate, and he could have wound up and punched them in the face, and he didn't. He was super cool with it, and he knew that there was a line, and they hadn't crossed it yet, but you know, there's a lot of guys that I could see being very jumpy at that situation, but no, he was really cool. She was really cool. Can't say anything bad about her. So we've got foam, we've got seamstress, we've got social media. We got a couple things going on here. One of them being something that we'll even use this as a small example. If you want some prop, if you want some big gun or big sword or big something, you go to this guy, Odin Makes. Now, this is what I'm calling the DIY prop king. Odin is a great source for prop tutorials. This guy makes pretty much everything you could think of in the nerd community. This guy has made lightsabers. He's made Lego lightsabers. He has made the Nightmare Sword from Soul Calibur. He has made blasters. He's made Doctor Strange's thing, I believe. He's made the Cosmic Cube from Avengers. This guy is so good at DIY and using tons of different materials. Some a little more expensive, but most of them are not. He's very good at keeping his tutorials under a good budget, so a lot of people can use those tutorials and make them their own. His YouTube channel is incredible. Go check him out after. He's not doing as many just one video builds. He's doing a lot of live streams. He's actually doing several 2+ hour live streams with, I believe, one of his significant others. His significant other. I believe it's who it is. Might be another cosplayer, not 100%. Haven't watched a bunch lately. But they do live builds, and I believe right now he's building a Ghostbuster Proton Pack, and he's pretty much filming every moment of the build. So it's really cool to see him break things down to, again, sort of with like Ted, a very dumbed down version of it, which when you're starting out in cosplay, and even when you know what you're doing, seeing some of these people do different builds, like I love all these cosplayers, but there are a few, and there's a lot of them that are on this list that do tutorials, and it's very, so you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, you're done. And it's like, wait a second, how did you get from da-da-da-da-da-da-da? And they say, and it's not explained. He explains every little step. They're longer videos, but he gets the point across and he shows you the details, which I so appreciate. And by the way, for any of the conventions in the area of Southern Ontario, all of these people that I'm going to talk about and have talked about, bring them here. Fan Expo used to bring, not him, but Yaya, Nigiri, and others. Somebody has to bring these people, because I'm telling you, we all want to meet them and we all want to talk to them about how they do their stuff. So I don't care if it's Expo. I don't care if it's London. I don't care if it's a brand new con. Bring these folks to us. We want them here. I can't be the only one who says that. All right. So we've got props. We've got social media. We've got seamstressing, and we've got foam. Let's jump into an aspect of foam. Now we've got Evil Ted, and Evil Ted is very good at his templates. However, Evil Ted is also a very big sci-fi fan, which is great if you're a sci-fi fan. However, if you're not, his templates can be a little limiting when it comes to what you can do with them. He has some generic ones, but a lot of them are pretty specific. Kamui Cosplay, however, is the person I go to for my foam templates, unless it's for pouches, and then I go to Freakish Workshop. But for most of my foam templates, I go to Kamui Cosplay because she is one of the few cosplayers who has very generic templates. which is so useful in the long run. I have her basic chest piece, her leg pieces, her helmets, her neck pieces, her shoulders, her wrists, her hands, everything. Because I can use those basic templates and build off of them. They act as the base layer, and I can expand into whatever cosplay I want to do. That is so good. And I know what you're saying, Crystal. You need a specific reader. I don't know what you mean by that. I have Adobe PDF. You can download it for free. The reader is free. I don't know why you're having that problem, but yes, they're all PDFs. I love them. They're so easy to read too, and they're very much on sale. A lot of the time she has sales, including, I want to let you guys know, there is a group, a company, I don't know what you want to call it, but it's called Humble Bundle. HUMBLE, Humble Bundle. This is where you want to go every once in a while. What is Humble Bundle? It is a group, organization, whatever, that will gather a bunch of fairly same themed items. Could be digital books, could be programs, could be games. They bundle them together and they give them to you at a very, very cheap price. Part of the sale goes to help a charity. Now, why do I say this is important? Well, because there is usually, and I say this because sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't, it comes in waves. Usually, there is a cosplay bundle, and that will have various books in it and patterns in it. I have got so many, swing the proper way, on that iPad, I've got at least 30 cosplay books on it that I've gotten through Humble Bundle. And it will be, 20 books and 10 PDFs of patterns and a ton of different things for $20. It's so worth it. So check them out. And every once in a while, there'll be a cosplay bundle. I've now gotten 3 of them. There have been some duplicates, but for the price you're paying, it's not bad to get a couple duplicates. And her stuff is on it frequently. I've got a couple of her books from it. I've got a bunch of her cosplay templates from it. So check them out. They make your life so much easier. Along with Kamui Cosplay and her foam templates, another person that I knew about on social media platforms, but I really didn't get into her too much. However, because of those books, I have now become a giant fan of, and this is because of her wig and ears for any of, not just furries, but anybody who wants to do a cute cosplay. Kinpatsu Cosplay. Her wigs and her animal ears and even just her cosplays are unbelievably good. She is incredible. She has got such a good anime style look when it comes to her cosplays, and her wigs they look like they were drawn onto her, which is a wig design and wig forming and wig modeling and all that I'm still new to. And I've read a couple of her books and they're making me a little better at it, but there are things about her that I don't know how you make it look that good. I have no idea. So I've become a big, big fan of hers through those books. The flow, the creativity, and like I said, even just her cosplay in general. Her armored Princess Peach is like, dude, what are you doing? This stuff's incredible. So go check her out. She's on, obviously, all the social media platforms, but definitely check out her tutorials and her templates. She's got templates as well for armor, and mostly her wig and ear styling, because it is dope beyond belief. So we have got foam, we have got seamstress, we've got social media, we've got props, we've got foam templates, we've got wigs and ears. So we've kind of covered almost everything, in my opinion, for your basic cosplay. You've got your foam armor, let's say. You've got your seamstressing underneath. You've got your social media. You've got your ability to post and get views and stuff on all your social media. You've got your big prop that you've built with Odin. You've got your foam templates that you've used to build your armor. You've got your wigs. You've got your ears. What do you have left? This. You need video. And how do you do better at video? Well, you need to know how to shoot video. You need to know how to edit video, especially for cosplay specific things. You also need to understand things like posing and how your body looks on camera. If I lean back and my head is back, I look very different than if I'm slouched over like this. It brings out a different aspect of me as a person. And the people, all these people I've talked about earlier, they've influenced me in many different ways and are still influencing me today. This group, and this is the final one on the list, they have influenced me more than any other. This was a group that when I first started, I saw the Yaya Hans, I saw the Evil Teds, I saw the Nigiris and all that, and I went, I'm never going to get to that point. I'm never going to be on social media because, again, social media wasn't what it is now. I'm never going to be able to break through. I'm never going to get to that level. And then I went on YouTube and I found a group called Sneaky Zebra. And these folks do cosplay highlight videos from conventions. And a lot of people do those now. But these guys were one of the first ones that I watched and I went, you're not just showcasing the Jessica Nigiris, the Yaya Hans, the Evil Teds. You're showcasing amateurs. You're showcasing beginner cosplays. You're showcasing the fun of cosplay. And you're showing all of these aspects in such a fun way that it makes you want to go to the conventions. It makes you want to become a cosplayer. It makes you want to dress up every single time. And these guys influenced me beyond belief. Anytime I felt any bit of, I can't do this, I'm not good enough, I would throw on one of their videos, and I still do it to this day. And I will listen to them. They usually have amazing soundtracks on all of their videos. And I know that I can do this. I know one day I will be in a Sneaky Zebra video. They don't do them as much anymore since the pandemic happened. But that was my thing. I always wanted to be in a Sneaky Zebra video. In fact, during the pandemic, they put out a call to anyone who was a cosplayer and at home to shoot a video, and they would edit it all together and it would become the new video. Well, I did. And unfortunately, due to, they said a bunch of logistic problems and the quality and et cetera, they couldn't make a video out of it. But they guess they did a live stream and talked about it, and I missed the live stream, and they also mentioned it at the end of one of their other videos that wasn't a cosplay highlight video. And I remember messaging them religiously over and over, being like, when's the new video? When's the new video? When's the new video? When's this video? And I think I caught them live on Instagram one time, and I just messaged them, and they're like, we've heard you. We've said it before. We can't do that video. And I felt so bad because I realized, like, I have been hounding them for months, wondering when this video is going to come out, hoping that I was going to be on it. But suffice to say, it never happened. But seriously, like, if you need that, if you're in that moment where you're like, I need some inspiration, I need some fun music or something, YouTube, check them out. They are incredible videos. You can go to their playlists and go down to cosplay highlights, cosplay showcase, I believe it is. And yeah, there are songs that they use in their videos that I have seen. I've watched the video so many times. The songs if I hear them in public, I just instantly start thinking of cosplay because I've watched those videos so much, and it just gets me hyped and gets me excited to build. So Sneaky Zebra is the last one. It's really good to showcase them because it's something I think that a lot of people who know how to build, know how to make cosplays and buy cosplays, they get to that point, but it's that next step of being able to showcase and posing and all that stuff that they can't get that far. These guys will help you with that. They'll get you to, you'll be able to watch those videos and go, oh, I see how that character poses. I can do that pose, and that will look good when I do it. So check them out. Check out Kinpatsu. Check out Kamui. Check out Odin. Check out Jessica. Check out Yaya. And check out Evil Ted. They are, again, stunning cosplayers and videographers. I would not be a cosplayer today without all of their influence and all of the work they put into it. Folks, we are at the 7:51-minute mark. I thank you so much. If you're still here, click that like button, click that subscribe button. I should have said that earlier, but you guys should know this right now. I mean, it's YouTube. It's the way we do things around here. We are going to be live next week. We're going to talk all about London Comic-Con because I will be there this Saturday, hanging out with my buddy Collaborated Cosplay at his booth from 2 to 3 p.m. But before that, I'll be walking around. I'll be shaking hands. I'll be saying hi to everybody. I'll be walking around, throwing some cards, showing people some string on my other one. I love comments. But I hope you had a good night, folks. I will hopefully see you at London. And if I do, come by, say hi. Can't wait to see you. And if I don't, I will see you here next week to talk about London Comic-Con, and then Hamilton Comic-Con, and then Frightmare in the Falls, and then 2 more Comic-Cons. Oh, this is going to be a long fall and a long winter. Folks, have yourselves a great night. I love you. I can't wait to see you all soon. Take care. Talk to you soon. Bye. Hey, thanks for watching Monday Night Nerd. If you enjoyed this content, please hit the subscribe button, like this content, and follow on social media for even more nerdy fun. See you soon.